All right, what's going on, y'all? We are back with another GM video, a mock off season. This time we were doing the Carolina Panthers. In my Raiders video, they were the only team to get shouted out. So we're going to proceed with doing the Carolina Panthers here on the Stick to the Model website using their tools. It is the best off-season tool. If you haven't seen it, please check the link in the description. If you sign up, use my code REX. But it's a great tool. It's got your ability to manage the roster, cut, restructure, and just manage the cap. And then you can do trades, free agency, a mock draft, and then it gives you a beautiful summary at the end to see what your roster looks like then. So we're doing the Carolina Panthers. They unexpectedly made the playoffs with a losing record, and that's not always a good position to be in. They don't have a ton of cap space, so they've got some work to do to be able to work around in free agency. They've got some needs. They've got a quarterback that they're moving forward with. I'm not a huge believer in Bryce, but you know he'll get the job done at least for another year. He definitely needs some help on the offensive line. They've got Ted McMillan, who is a great wide receiver one. I think potentially down the road he could be a wide receiver two. You probably don't feel great at the receiver room after that. There's some potential in some of the younger guys, but I think Xavier Legette has kind of proven to be a bust. Tight ends, Sanders had a solid year. So offense was okay. Defense was not great. You want to increase the pass rush. After trading away Brian Burns a couple seasons ago, they just haven't had the same consistent pass rush. So, we're just going to see what we can put together to improve the roster and see if they can make a run for the playoffs where it's not a losing record this time. So the beautiful thing about this tool is if you're not that familiar with the roster, so like Commanders are my favorite team. I could do their offseason in my sleep and know exactly what I want. I know enough about the Panthers to know what's going on, but I don't know their the structure of the contracts and things like that. They have smart suggestions where they have their cut candidates, restructure candidates, and extension candidates. Probably not going to be franchise tagging anybody in this. I don't think there's anybody worth that. But you've got that. I'm not going to look at that right this second. I kind of want to go through and see what we're working with. You've got the ability to extend, restructure, or cut most players. Some are not eligible for the extension, and some of them cutting would just be insane. Like Ted McMillan, he's got $23 million dead cap. You don't save anything. If we go by cap savings, it'll give you the description of how much you save, along with how much dead money you have. So Damian Lewis was the starting guard last year. He's still 28. He's decent. At the very least, you're going to be fine with him being a backup. He's getting paid a little bit more than he's worth. So a restructure to me would make sense. You can save $5 million. So I'd say let's do that. We don't need to cut him, but we've saved $5 million there, increase the cap there. A'Shawn Robinson, he kind of plays, he's listed as a DN, but I think he plays more like D tackle, nose tackle scenario, depending on the 3-4-4-3 setup. He's okay. That's kind of expensive. There's no option to restructure here. So it's pretty much stick with it or cut him and save $8.5 million. Might come back to that depending on what we think we can do in free agency. So you're Patrick Jones, another young guy, not saving a ton of money, not getting paid a ton either. Move on from him. Tommy Tremble, you're keeping. Sadiq Charles, to me, is not great. He was on the Commanders. I'm going to cut him. We can get better depth. That's about all I've got here. I thought that said Ryan Fitzpatrick for a second. Shout out. Jimmy Horn is great. I didn't know if we'd be able to do anything. He's on probably a rookie contract still. Okay, that's it for that. Let's look at the smart suggestions. So I talked about A'Shawn Robinson. They're saying the production does not match the cap hit. Save $1.2 million with no cap hit. Wide receiver. I mean, yeah, let's do that because not a huge fan. Don't really know. Not familiar with his work. So here is the restructure. Yes, let's do this. Let's restructure all these guys and get us some more cap room to work with. Chuba Hubbard, you definitely want to bring back. We're going to restructure all three of these and save some more money and see what our cap can look like heading out of here. So that's great to have those 7 restructured, saved. So we added 17, 23, 29, call it 30, 36, nearly $40 million Yeah, 40 million saved by restructuring. That's huge. That gives us some money to work with. So we're going to say we're done managing contracts, not going to franchise tag anybody. So when you move into trades, you've got some immediate offers, and it tends to be some of the same players throughout. But we're going to see what's been offered. Absolutely not. We want nothing to do with Marshawn Lattimore. No. Trash. Okay. So we're going to look at what we've got offered, and then I might look to build our own, see what we can get. We're buying. There's not anybody on the Panthers that I think we're really selling unless I can get some picks for Xavier Legette. I do like Kayshon Boutte. Pick 83 is not terrible. That's a third-round pick. For his production, he definitely was definitely better than buried depth. I wouldn't call him buried depth, but expiring asset. So that's the other thing is they kind of label what everybody is to you. Calvin Ridley, I don't want. That's crazy cap impact. Do not want that. Jordan Brooks, I don't mind. We could definitely use a linebacker. I believe I'd released one. Colby Parkinson's fine, but we don't need tight end. So I think we're going to try to get a wide receiver. I'm going to try to get a corner and an edge rusher before we get to the draft. That way, when we're drafting, we can just go best player available and go from there. So I do like Kayshon Boutte. Let's see what we can do. Let's see here, how many picks we've got. So 19, 51, 83. So pretty much we've got our own picks. We've only got our own picks in this draft. 27 got our own picks as well. So basically, just Panthers have all their own picks through the next two drafts. Let's go wide receiver. And let's look at the first one that might realistically be up for trade. I think A.J. Brown could realistically be up for trade. Rashee Rice, probably not. He's been really good for them. Probably not Jameson Williams. Who knows what's going on in Miami? Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill are both possibilities. I don't want to go old. I love Luther Bird, and they're not going to get rid of him. I think DJ Moore might be up. We're not bringing him back to Carolina. Very unlikely. Okay. I think we're going to have to keep scrolling a little bit. You never know what the Jets are going to do, but I think Garrett Wilson's a cornerstone. Chris Godwin. You know what? Jaden Reed is solid. Let's go Jaden Reed. I think Romeo Doubs is a free agent, and he might be someone that we would target, but I really like Jaden Reed. They're calling his value, let's see here. They're eager. Let's add a pick. So it was Kayshon Boutte. To me, I would rather have Jaden Reed because he's younger. We were offered Kayshon Boutte for this pick. Let's see what we can do here. Trade accepted. Boom. Jaden Reed now on the Panthers. I like that. So that's to me, that's probably the only trade we're going to do. I said I'd try to build our own. So we've brought in Jaden Reed. Let's send out Legette. Doesn't have a lot of value. Select a trade partner. Who needs a wide receiver? Denver could use a big body wide receiver. New Orleans. And add a pick. There's no way we're getting a third round back. Okay. They accepted it. It says it was reluctant. So I wonder if we actually could have gotten Jaden Reed for less because of how quickly they accepted. But we essentially moved up 10 spots and got Jaden Reed. Cost us more money, but let's go with it. I like the trade. It feels a little Madden-y, but we're gonna go with it. I like Garrett Williams, but that's too much to give up. So I think that's all the trades we're gonna do. We're gonna move on to free agency. Here's some restricted free agent contenders to see if there's anybody that we want to tender. I don't feel the need to do anything with that. All right. Jalen Coker, I do think that we want to retain. We're going to go ahead and that's cheap. We're going to keep him. Rico Dowdle, to me, is definitely a possible re-sign, but he's going to want to go somewhere and be the starter. we've got Chuba Hubbard. I think we can just bring in some depth for cheaper than what he's going to end up costing. A lot of depth pieces. There's a lot of free agents that we have. Don't need Hunter Renfrow or David Moore. I mean, might as well re-sign the punter, right? Might as well re-sign the punter, right? There must be an ad in that area that I'm not seeing. And the punter's gone. So we must have re-signed him. Nope, there he is. There we go. Sorry about that. Okay. So restricted free agents, we already went through. We don't need that. Depth pieces, rotational. Don't need him. Bryson Tremaine. Let's keep one of our corners. They're both about the same. Damari Mathis we're going to keep. Just a 2-year. Confirm the signing. Okay. Now we're going into actually signing. So we've added a wide receiver. I said I want to get a pass rusher and a corner. So we're going to go based on position and get us an edge rusher. And let's see how they're ordered. Looks like they're going based on value, projected value. Yeah, top end of the range. So for the Panthers, they're going to want somebody for the long haul. If I'm realistic, if I'm the GM, if I'm realistic, we're not winning the Super Bowl next year. So you want somebody that's going to get you to the next step, but can be with you when you take the step after that. So Joseph Asai is good. Arden Key would be okay. He's a little old. Not talking Cleveland Farrell. He's not good enough. Jacob Martin's old. Cameron Jordan's way too old. AJ Espinosa would be okay. Fowler's too old. I like Jalen Phillips. He's not the big guy. I love Boye Mafe. I think that he's a little underrated. Although he is, I feel like he's becoming more and more popular this offseason. But to me, I'm going to try to sign Joseph Asai. He's young. Let's get him for, let's see, he's 26. Let's get him up until he's 30 if we can. Boom, done. Got our edge rusher. And then let's go get a corner. And there's some pretty good corners on the block. So Tariq Woolen, I think they just won the Super Bowl. He's young. They've got to value him enough to bring him back. He's here, but I've done enough that felt like I was playing Madden. Let's try to be a little bit more realistic. Greg Newsome, to me, is a great candidate. Josh Williams is solid. Josh Joby is had a great Super Bowl. Russell Douglas is too old. So Josh Joby to me would be, it might be hard for them to pay both in Seattle. And I think Tariq Woolen will be the priority. Greg Newsome is good, and I like him a good amount. Not Benjamin St. Juste, not Rocky Sin. He's getting too old. Jalen Watson's okay, probably a little overpriced. Noah Benogany is a really good interior corner. Struggles on the outside, but might be cheap. So why don't we do this? Let's try to get either Josh Joby or Greg Newsome. I'm not going to overpay. Let's see here, Greg Newsome. He's 26. Let's get him for a few years. Let's go 15 below market. Offer accepted. Boom. Okay. So didn't break the bank for Newsome. And then I want to go sign Noah Igbenogany. Get some rotational depth in that area. Okay, there's definitely a hidden link down here. Sorry about that. Okay, we're going to do that. He's also young, but 2 years to me is fine. Let's see if we can pay 5.5. Make offer. Boom. Done. Okay. Got 2 corners. Got an edge rusher. Got a wide receiver. Let's see what we can do on the interior of the O-line. So we're losing our starter, who we can no longer sign. And that's about it. So we need an interior offensive lineman that's going to be able to start, that we can afford. Okay. Let's go quality. Josh Jones. Because we are in some cap trouble. Let's do that. Okay. Now, I think that's about all we can do. Let's go to the draft. Like I said, we've got the full 7 rounds. We're going to make it go fast. See where we land at 19. But what we've done is we've freed up enough space to be able to draft best player available when it gets to us. So, Avion Terrell is phenomenal. We did sign 2 corners, but he is a great, great player. We do need interior offensive line. We do need tackle. We also have options for trading back. Pick up 2 extra picks. So picking up future ones doesn't really help us. We're focusing on what we get this year. So I think I'm going to pick edge rush. Cassius Howell is pretty solid. They've got great breakdowns on this site, by the way. With their strengths, elite explosiveness, extensive pass rush arsenal, speed to power, but he struggles being a little undersized and the sub 31-inch arms. The arms are going to be huge to be talked about because Ruben Bain, I think, has like some of the shortest arms ever of a defensive tackle projected to be taken in the top 10. So that's definitely a conversation. I think offensive line, Caleb Lomu, Utah has been putting out some crazy good offensive linemen, and I've seen him projected. I believe there's another Utah offensive lineman that is going high up here. Yeah, Spencer Fano. But I like him. Inconsistent set lines, quick start, fluid mover. Okay, so I'm going to either go Caleb Lomu or Avion Terrell. God, or Caden McDonald. All right, we're going to go interior defensive line. I know I jumped very quickly to go back to that, but their defense needed the most help. We've addressed pass rusher. We've addressed wide receiver. We could use a center. Tight ends, I mean, we're okay. So wide receiver, a center, Connor Liu, boom, done. Offensive line, addressed. 3rd round, I love Chase Basantis. We're going to get him. There's no way he'll be there in the 3rd round. I think he'll be picked before the end of the 2nd round. But we've now gone 2 offensive linemen. We've gotten 1 defensive lineman. So we're addressing the trenches. That is how you win football long term. Tight ends, Oscar Delp. Let's see who else is still available. Oscar Delp, I like. Boom. It's a bit of a reach, but I'm telling you, okay, I'm a State fan. Carolina is kind of my hometown team. I'm from North Carolina, but I'm a Commanders fan, born and bred. But Justin Jolie, to me, is going to be one of the best tight ends in this draft. Phenomenal hands. Let's see what they say about him. Contested catch, blocking. He's a receiving tight end. He does not have elite speed. I'll agree with that. But basically, not a great blocker and not incredibly fast. But red zone weapon. Yes, we're drafting him. It's a need, and if I have the opportunity to draft one of my favorite players, then we're taking him. All right. We're back-to-back picks. This is awesome. This feels like a good spot to go running back. Jamari Taylor I really like. Le'Veon Moss is solid. Jade Knott is good. I'm not familiar with Seth McGowan or Roman Hemby, if I'm being honest. I didn't watch the national championship. I didn't watch really any Indiana football. I like Jamari Taylor a lot, so we're going to go there. And then let's see what is available. Best player available. We've gone tight end. We could go offensive tackle. Any wide receivers in this range? Cade Klubnik, we could get our backup quarterback. I don't hate that. If there's not a elite wide receiver, Bryce Lance. North Dakota State puts out some dudes. Good speed, solid routes, lacks elite size. He's 6'3". What else do you want from a wide receiver? Could add strength. You know what? I'm going to get us our backup quarterback. We're going to get Cade Klubnik. And then I think that's either done it or we've got one more. Okay. So we're back up. Offensive tackle makes a lot of sense. Edge could be fine. Wide receiver, Reggie Virgil. What other wide receivers do we have here? Dane Key, Colby Young, Jeff Caldwell, Caleb Douglas. Let's see what we've got here. Nothing. Okay, we've officially, that guy's got his picture there at least. Okay. I think we're going to go offensive tackle. Notre Dame puts out some dudes. So we're going to get an offensive tackle. Got to be honest, I'm not familiar with him, but just for the position and the ranking. Colby Young's still here. We're going to get our wide receiver, and this should give us acne care. Colby Young. Boom. Okay. Off-season grade, we got a B-. That's fair. We're in cap hell. Needs were filled. The future outlook is not as good, but roster moves, we made a lot. And then you get your depth chart, which is awesome. So we can see what we're missing. We can see how we're looking. Andy Dalton, Cade Klubnik, we're looking good. Running backs, we didn't really do much with. Still got Trevor Etienne and Jonathan Brooks. Like, there's a lot of upside. I completely forgot about Jonathan Brooks because of how long he was injured. Wide receivers significantly upgraded. Jaden Reed's going to end up starting over Jimmy Horn, and maybe move Horn to wide receiver 3. But we've addressed it through every avenue that you can. Tight ends, Justin Jolie's not even listed in our depth chart, but he's on there. Added some depth. Basantis likely ends up starting. I'd probably put him in at right guard. Connor Liu will probably be the starting center since he was a second-round pick. Defense, my draft picks aren't even on here, but we drafted our first-round pick as a defensive tackle. Future dead money. Oh, it's just reviewing everything that we've got. So go back here. So Caden McDonald's not even listed, just because the depth chart goes off the screen. But I feel like we've improved. Let me know in the comments what changes you would have made. Do you like the trades? I feel like we did get a little too much for Xavier Legette, and maybe we paid a little too much for Jaden Reed. But you let me know, and I appreciate you being here, and I'll see y'all next time.